You're watching this week's show with Dan and Mike.
This week's show podcast.
Hello.
We are back. Dan, Mike.
Mike and Dan.
And as you guys know, that we took a week away from the studio to go to Comic-Con, which was awesome.
That was so good. Sat in Optimus Prime.
I mean, we did actually check the previous footage that you ended up friends with one of the guys that when we first went to the other one. If you watch the footage carefully enough, you may have slightly annoyed one of the car owners. This time you actually became friends with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have redemption arced this Comic-Con.
John Wick's car. Right?
Yeah. Because you weren't even being it looked like you were being sort of all over the car, but I know you well enough to know there was probably about that much space between you and the car.
Like you had a reach there. You give them a hug, but don't touch them.
So yeah, that was amazing, good fun. Make sure that you do check out, I can't remember the name of the company because it's an acronym, but the ones that run it and that are tagged in the last video, they do multiple festivals, really awesome. Make sure you check them out.
Just go back to last week's YouTube.
Or
Spotify.
Or Spotify, no, we are now pumping them out on both. It's album review show now.
It's album club time. Once a month we've decided. It's working. Album club.
And this one, I am super excited for both of us with the stuff that we've chosen from this year.
Because we're fans of the band.
Because we're actually fans of the band. And we were just talking off...
Well, no, I could review your album, but I don't think you're not quite as fanboyish.
Not fanboyish, but they have, for the genre of music that it is, which I don't tend to spend a lot of time in.
You're not a deathcore, you're a metalcore.
Definitely. But I have listened to more of your band than almost any other deathcore band. Just a random fact. Between you and previous friends that like this band.
Okay.
And the small amounts that he sings as well on previous albums, I don't know about you're about to tell me how much he sings on this one.
Not on this album.
There we go. I also really like his voice. So we haven't told you who we're reviewing yet.
You go first.
So, and this is just my music taste, that's what I chose, but they're also one of the biggest breakout bands over the last 5 to 10 years. And both me and Mike have got timestamps in the past with Architects. So I saw them when they were still a mathcore band, and barely anything, 1 or 2 lines, maybe a song, and one song in the entire set. The rest of it, there's this old gig where Architects actually came on as the second band, even though they were main support.
Yes, you mentioned this one before in Yoga.
Yes, where Architects basically gave up their at the end of the headline slot to make sure the other bands had time to arrive. Even back then they were showing what decent people when it comes to industry, sort of the way they handle things, the way they handle their fans, everything like that. You had an absolutely spectacular interview with Sam.
I had a couple.
But the one I'm thinking of is where
the Hangover one.
Yeah.
I've got that photo up in my living room with a collage of people I've interviewed.
And we've also chatted to them where they've done things like Reading and Download and stuff like that, because we've been cameramen for another interview that they did, and we're just
with a friend of ours who's now on Talk Radio.
Yeah, so Mr. Alex Irons, make sure if you're into the sport that he does talks about, make sure that you check out what he does.
He talks about all sports, because he's on Talk Sport Radio. Whatever it is, the overnight.
I imagine he also professionally goes, we're going into the stuff that he also likes, because I know Alex is into a certain couple more, a couple of sports and more other sports.
Anyway. I remember having an interview with Sam.
Yep.
In Bristol.
Yep.
Again. But this time we just talked about veganism and vegan cheese mostly, and the differences between them and how they had come on. This was about 10 years ago, but now,
future Dan, find vegan cheese moment, drop it here a sec.
The way I see it is you kind of replace your vote with your wallet almost, your vote for who you your favourite bands. You're supporting that. When you go to a supermarket, when you buy your dinner or your groceries, you're supporting that company instead of supporting the industries with all this torture and horrible things that happen to these amazing animals.
Thank you, Dan. We still have those interviews up because even back then they were they were starting to get that sort of.
I thought it was just audio, but I stand corrected.
I could just put a picture of you guys as well, because it's on our YouTube, I know that much. Because it had enough views for me not to take it down when I purged all of our previous
It's cleansing.
but no, I've chosen, I have to look because I'm so terrible at remembering things, but I've got The Sky, the Earth and All Between. That's the album.
Got it right this time.
I got it right.
We both got it wrong on the radio show. It's everything between the sky and the earth.
The problem is when you do it like stuff like this and announce 20 to 24 tracks thereabouts a week, you do just like stumble over some of the details because that's a lot of different things to announce every week.
Being dyslexic.
Yeah, shout out to our dyslexic brethren out there. It's amazing that we can actually run social media.
We love you.
Not at all due to our manager that now runs it for us, which is why it is actually functioning now. So one of the standout things about this album for me is literally the first track. It's not one of the singles as far as I'm aware, because it's Elegy.
I don't think I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, because we'd have played it on the radio show, and they've already had 2 track of the weeks off this one album this year, and we're not even at Easter yet.
100%. But that one, just for, because when you start an album, and you know that...
I'm not a musician, I'm a radio presenter and podcaster.
I meant to listen.
Oh, yes.
But when you've heard, like I just say, the singles through doing the show, and then you hear the way that they've opened it, which isn't a single, and you don't know about it, and you're immediately like, this is just so satisfying. Knowing, because I loved seeing Red when it was like the first one of this album they brought out probably about a year ago, I think. And Sam reclaiming the
You didn't like it for a while?
No, fair play. Like, I think he just didn't, and I really respect this, he just didn't want to be like a meme, if you know what I mean. Because he
didn't want to be a guy.
Exactly.
But now he's owning it. He is the godfather.
But do you know why I think he didn't mind owning it? Is Sam, shout out to you, my dude. Your vocals, like on this, is just insane. Like, they've been good and really good, top of the industry good for 3 or 4 albums. Genuinely didn't expect to be surprised at just the new stuff he's decided to go for. Knowing as well, having watched them so many times live, knowing that you're going to get a live version of what you're listening to that sounds incredible as well. Like, can they actually do any wrong at the moment?
Well, Jordan Fish has had his fingers in the architect's pie, hasn't he, for this album? And he can't do any wrong. What he's done with Bring Me the Horizon and Poppy, Knock Loose, he's just going to be the producer
and kind of songwriter as well.
Yeah, of this generation. And it's showing.
Really, really is. I mean, you must like. He's the type of one I imagine that he probably has problems if he tries not to produce music or be creative. I get that vibe because he is always working hard.
Yeah.
So you, because I am wildly unaware of general pop culture in this, I talk to this man regularly. I didn't even realise that it had hit top 5
on the global chart.
On the global chart.
Yeah.
Like.
On Spotify, that is. That's the streaming service I use. YouTube. There are other streaming services out there that our radio show is on. But it's just my chosen preference.
It is mine too, to be fair. Because again, I want to be able to legally listen to everything that Spotify has available, and there's not really another way of doing it easily when you are a consumer of music.
The only downside is they might have had the top 5 global album on Spotify, but it only makes £3.72.
Very, very true. I was amazed that there's only 2 songs out of all of their most popular on with the starting screen of the profile. There's only 2 songs, which is Animals and Doomsday. That isn't the new album because they're getting just so much numbers on every single track.
Yeah.
But no, like I say, Elegy for me is a really standout track from it. Beyond that, I got lost in enjoying every track on there. And it's not often that I sit there and go, hey, there's something to each song in this. I normally say I like an album if it's about 75%.
Is it a contender?
It's a solid contender. I would be very surprised if it's not in my top 3.
Oh, find out.
Calling that
in
now.
December. Stay tuned, listeners and watchers.
We do a hefty top 10 school report of the year. But yeah, that one is a solid contender.
And they've just recently announced European and UK tour with Wage War and someone else who I can't remember, but I'm sure you'll be able to flash it up once you've done your editing. Next to the like, subscribe, notification, but what we do prefer is comments and shares.
Yeah, no, tell us who we should be aware of for this particular part of the album review show. Like, who do you think, if I'm choosing Architects, who do you think I should listen to next? I've got a couple of...
This past month since our last album show, there have been some proper good albums come out, like Ginger, and Memphis Mayfire, Dream Theatre. It's varied, but there are some big bands releasing music. All
and
between now,
dropped.
Spirit Box as well. I was close to picking that, but then I thought they've had a lot of publicity. So I might go for a band that I really like. Look, I don't like Spirit Box, but
not at all.
My album it ekes out just a little bit.
Well, I can say that you have actually notably been a fan of your album, or the band, sorry, for pretty much the entire time I've known you.
Yes.
Like, or at
I
least...
even had a t-shirt, but then I gave it away to charity at Bloodstock last year.
Yes, you did.
Along with probably, I think it was like 30 band t-shirts that I'd accumulated over the years. I was like, I'm not going to wear these again, so someone else might do. And at Bloodstock they have a band t-shirt amnesty, and all the t-shirts go into the local charity shop or something in Derby, and they make money off of my clean.
Well, I think they also
band t-shirts.
You can obviously, because a lot of people that might need or want a band t-shirt that may not be in a position to get to the shop. I think they also want quite a cool online shop for it as well.
Yeah,
so people that can't get to the charity store and find these gems actually still have a chance. It's a bit like Vinted for metal t-shirts.
Yeah, it
but
is.
all the money goes to charity rather than to anybody else. So if you go to Bloodstock this year and you've got t-shirts that you're not wearing anymore, and you want to spot other metalheads out there where you can basically give them a cool t-shirt rather than throwing it away, then take it to Bloodstock and give it to the Amnesty.
And it's not just metal, I even snuck in one of my old Wu-Tang shirts.
but there's going to be another metalhead out there that's into Wu-Tang that's going to really love the fact that you did that.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that.
Either that or I'll be like, God, I wish I still had that shirt, I might just go and buy it back. How much? What? I didn't pay that for it. I was going for charity.
Next year I've decided, because I've grown out of the one that I got like the most amount of comments on at Bloodstock, I'm going to donate the one that's too small for me, my Celine Dion like sort of death metal t-shirt where it's like got the goat and everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's another metalhead out there that's going to absolutely love that singing us, because I love a good crossover t-shirt. If you go back and look at like previous interviews, even the Jesse Leach one we talked about, where you can see I'm wearing the pink death metal t-shirt. And what's really nice about Bloodstock is I just got really nice comments from everybody, all the stupid stuff I wore, because that is Bloodstock. It is Coachella for double denim.
Well, you like to dress up so much at Bloodstock that Kendrick Lamar even mentions your jeans in most of his songs. Mustard! What's the colour of your jeans?
I will never live that era down. Jesus.
Whereas Mustard is actually Kendrick's producer.
Okay.
Because I knew you wouldn't know.
Yeah. We just have 1 week where the studio doesn't decide that it's going to have another ghosty running through it. That's the fun of setting up a studio.
Should we get onto my album now? I shall whip out my phone, because just like you, I'm dyslexic and have a memory like that thing that swims around and round with black eyes and... What's his name? Conor McGregor. No, goldfish, that's it. So, my album, the t-shirt that I gave away.
T-shirt and an interview that you also have done at Bloodstock.
Last year?
Yep.
And 2017, I think it was 17, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2017.
Or 16, something like that.
Yes.
That's the Phil Boseman of
Whitechapel.
Deathcore's finest from Tennessee.
like the legacy of Whitechapel is, I love that if you are like getting into Whitechapel off of Mike's recommendation, there is so much history from the band online that you can see their journey right up until this point, because they've just always got it right when it comes to content.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the album is called Hymn in Dissonance.
Cool.
Glad I could do that. It'll take me a week.
Hidden
No, Hymn
in.
Dissonance.
Yeah, that would confuse me.
Yeah. It's not him as in H-I-M, it's as in... Oh. Yeah.
H-Y-M.
Just for, like, from the opening song, Prisoner 666,
Yeah.
Phil's voice is there's no singing.
I know that. There's no singing.
There's no singing
There's no singing.
whatsoever. He is back to the angry voice, and it is brutal.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had it on and got on my bike and.
I was going to say, is it now a workout?
I got a sweater on some this without having to go in a mosh pit and endanger myself.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of our tracks on it, but the ones that.
Seamless. Carry on, Mike.
So yes, some of the track names I would have got tripped up over. So the one for me, Prisoner 666, the opening track.
That's quite easy.
Yeah.
But you did say what some of the other track names
The ones
were
that
there.
stick out for me are the Abysmal Gospel,
Nice.
which that would have been one to stumble on the radio. The Visceral Reich.
The Visceral Reich.
And the new track, which I'm sure we've just played on the show, Hate Cult Ritual.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is just brutal. There's some tracks on there where Phil's voice he holds the growly note for a very long time.
Okay. Has anybody counted it yet? 'Cause
It's a good 10-second plus. I can't remember what track it was off the top of my head, but it's there. And
I like stuff like that.
a lot of deathcore, you can't really understand the lyrics, but when you have it on a streaming service, quite often you have the lyrics so you can karaoke along with it in a pop kind of way. And yeah, the subject matter feels angry again, which is good. I know he tried doing, he did sing on some of the previous albums, and some of the subject matter on previous albums was very of that moment, and I think now he's got a lot more to be angry about. Although when you speak to him in person, the most placid guy.
Well, I'm remembering that it was him that did the interview on. Did he say he had 25 minutes sleep or something like that?
Before Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a seriously small night of sleep. And to begin with, like when you guys first lined up, because I didn't know that he was tired because you were chatting to him while setting up. It made so much sense why, for what we've had before from him, which is quite big energy, why he's just kind of stood there. But I remember the point where you could tell that you cheered him up feeling that tired because you just cracked a joke in the interview and he starts like, yeah, fair. And after that, he was just like a little bit more energetic.
Yeah, it was still very withdrawn.
Oh, well, if you're on 25 minutes sleep and you're trying to get ready for playing, so I think he still had to play it that way.
Yeah, they had to play, and obviously everyone just wanted to, I think he only did like 2 interviews the whole festival. All other interviews that he's done, everyone was asking, have you got new music coming out? Because it's been a while since the last album. So obviously I asked that because my job as a radio presenter and broadcaster. So I asked him, he goes, yeah, there is. He just
finally, just guys,
there is. I can't talk about it, but there is. You'll be having new music before you know it, and beginning of the year, the adverts start coming out and the new tunes start trickling through, and
we now have new Whitechapel.
We do. They're named after the place in London.
Not the burger joint.
That's White Castle.
That's embarrassing.
It is.
Dyslexia fun.
There's even a whole movie about going to...
Yeah, and I genuinely thought at that point it was called Whitechapel, not White Castle.
That's a whole different... Harold and Kumar go to London.
And probably like that would be like the 6th film in the series that is being produced by their own money.
After they get out with Guantanamo. And
Exactly.
It's like, oh, let's go to London. Where should we stay? Whitechapel.
To be honest, that is. I remember the first time I watched that. I don't think I laughed so much in a long time.
But yeah, Whitechapel also announced a massive tour.
In the UK or?
I believe so, yeah.
Cool.
And mainland Europe, but the lineup is that. I looked at it and went, oh, some people are going to get the living beep out of them in the mosh pits for that, because.
But that's people that, and it's one of the things I love about a band like Whitechapel is it is an inclusive audience. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. I have seen.
You're getting bumbled.
If you're in the mosh pit, though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a choice by being at that point. Like
But if you're not in the mosh pit, your ears are getting pumped.
I was going to say, because that's how I tend to do gigs as well outside the mosh pit section, and not in there. But I've also seen the most genuine metalhead love as well. When somebody does go down too hard in a Whitechapel, they literally like just stop the pit. Like you don't even need the musicians to stop with some bands, as they know. Often, like for people that don't understand mosh pits, the people that are in there know what they're doing. They know they want to be there. And if somebody's not having fun, then they're not going to continue like the so-say violence, because it's not actually like what most people think violence is. It's an agreed upon like
release of energy
yeah
to aggressive music
yeah
for lovely, lovely people.
But research your mosh pits, because not all mosh pits are the same.
No, because nowadays mosh pits are they're called push pits or all sorts, but it started off in punk and metal. But now you've got like big hip hop artists that are having mosh pits because they've got the heavy tunes.
Who was it? I think it was Bloodstock. Who was it that, because they weren't allowed to call it a wall of death anymore, called it a wall of cuddles? We're just doing a wall of cuddles.
That sounds like something Stephen Akira would do.
Oh, do you remember we did the longest ever wall of death?
They did, the whole hangar.
Like airport hangar, and it was one of those where you ran at each other. It was like the movie Austin Powers, where the steamrollers, and we were running at each other for a good 30 seconds, which kind of took the moment away. But it was great fun, and we were all quite trolleyed at the time.
It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it?
It was.
They were like,
check time. And then finally, and it also meant that everybody was going quite different speeds at that point as well. So.
And you could pick the person you were going to bash.
You were running towards them like, right, you.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's those our albums, and we obviously have our public voted album. I put forward an amazing album.
So did I.
It was a Behemoth, the Satanist.
And I put forward Metallica, Death Magnetic.
How did that not win? I would have gone with that over mine.
Yeah, and I genuinely thought that because the Metallica tag would be in there, you could hashtag it, everything like that. But no, Suburban Legends are actual legends because they shared the story with the poll.
It was our manager's choice album.
Yeah, it was.
But you know what? I would have much preferred to review the album before that she put up, because Adele.
But I got to admit, because I'm the same as Mike, it is not my style, Urban Legends, if you're watching this.
Well, when I started doing the rock show, it was basically ska and punk. We had a lot of it back in the Phonic FM days.
But
now,
we're not ska people anymore. But
yes,
they make good ska. It is like quite talented, very well produced. Just I got to admit, not for me. Is that bad?
Well,
is that bad?
Well, in 18 years of doing this rock show, I'm going to pull a John Cena and turn heel and go, this is probably the worst ska that I've heard in a very long time.
Oh!
Yes! It was Disney tunes that I don't like that kind of Disney anyway. I'm more of a Star Wars, Marvel kind of Disney fan. DuckTales tune. didn't hit for me. It's the best one on the EP.
Yep.
It just, for me, sounded... There were better bands doing those songs, like Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, Punk Rock Factory, Less Than Jake, Brother for Soup, Really Big Fish. Any album that sort of came out between 1998 and 2002 that would have had their soundtrack on a movie, much better. Sponge. Fandangle. I'm just naming off awesome bands.
You got 50% of the show, guys. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I don't.
I like this being heel.
Are you gonna like tip over your chair as you get out?
No, I'm gonna pick up the belt. You know?
Wait, you could pull an actual John Cena and just drop a mic, probably not on the glass table because that'd be a bad idea. You just drop it and don't say anything.
Well, I was actually going to ask you to take your watch off so that I can. I can't even do that. I'm not healed enough. I'm still broken. Ping! Ooh, who knew?
Yeah, so
yeah,
heel Mike James for the first time in a long time.
18 years. Positivity through music is normally how we promote ourselves, but yeah, just not my bag when it comes to ska. And
You were a big ska.
I was a big ska fan when ska was big. And obviously, we've done a whole episode on the best ska band in the world.
So, no, I like it. This is about personal taste.
Yeah, it didn't work for me.
No.
Nil pois.
So, who are we going to go for as our choices next time?
Oh, what, for the public vote?
For the public vote classic,
Obviously, we've got 4 weeks of new
voting.
albums coming out
Well, no, this
for our tunes,
Yeah.
but then we've got the public vote as well.
So it's up on our social media. Not right this second, but by the time you watch this, it will be up on there.
Circulating.
Yes.
Circulating.
So who have you got for next month's classic public choice?
I thought I'd go for an album that was... Some people might not think it was their best album ever, but it was the one that catapulted them back into people's
100%.
minds and stuff. It's Face Everything and Rise. I was going to say something else, but they changed it, didn't they?
It's Face Everything and Rise.
Yeah, by Papa Roach.
Spelling out Fear, which I think is
That's,
one of the because it was promoted both ways. I've got to admit, to me, it's one of their best albums.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great album. I'm trying to sell it to you guys. We did an album playback and promo night when we were DJing for this, and we had posters and Papa Roach lanyards and all the kind of jazz that album launches used to do. When you have a club night and you could listen to the album before it came out because the DJ was that cool and you got the album. And, posters and tickets and stuff. We did it for Lamb of God and a whole bunch a whole bunch of things like that. Back in the day.
Also download ticket parties as well. Stuff like that.
Ticket parties.
Yes. They might still go on, we just don't host them anymore.
Yeah, I was talking to someone only earlier today about how I'm so away from that scene that I still don't know where to hire DJ equipment. So someone asked me if I knew, and I was like, no, but I will find out and get back to you.
Just don't know anymore because
I'm just old.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day. We are numbering quite a few years since we jacked in even like the smaller promotions.
I haven't DJed because I used to do a monthly Saturday night, 90s night, and I haven't, and that finished before the pandemic. Well, the pandemic finished it for us.
So that is like now a good solid 5 years. Mine is a bit longer than that because I didn't keep doing the 90s DJing.
No.
Mine is more like 7-8 years since I last did it. It's wild.
So what's your album that you want our loving audience to push the button on?
This one was inspired off of checking which ones have been released this year, reminding me of the band, and I was sat there thinking like, what falls into our rules of classic, which people probably view as a bit of a classic as well.
What sort of post-millennium, pre-pandemic?
But this is very much post-millennium. This is not, and this is much closer to 2000 than it is 2020.
Well, yeah.
So because All That Remains released Anti-Fragile this year, which is pretty sick in itself.
This year or last?
No, this year.
Oh.
The very start of this year, I think it was like January or February, from what I was checking. I mean, we're only in March anyway, but yeah. So and then I was sat there thinking about the classic that I needed to come up with for the public vote, and I was like, well, everybody always says that, and like, sorry, Phil, the front man of All That Remains, is I'm literally playing into something which you get annoyed about, and I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm turning heel as well. I'm not turning heel. I'm going to be the face. No, he always says that people focus far too much on the fall of ideals. Like, he's like, we've moved on as musicians, we've progressed, we're doing different things, we're not going to just make the same album over and over. But it made me think that, like, the fall of ideals by All That Remains really does tick our classic tick list.
It does.
And I'm genuinely going to have such a good time because I think it was before I actually did stuff with you, I went to go and see possibly like someone like Dragon Force at the O2 Arena in Bristol, and All That Remains were the support band, and they were more impressive to me, not necessarily to everybody, but to me. I was like, this band is cool, and it was on the Fall of the Ideals tour, and I was just like, because it was like, and at that point it felt like Linkin Park, but like metalcore heavy. And on that
Linkin
album,
Park on steroids.
kinda, yeah,
Literally.
yeah. And like at that point, he had a slightly similar voice, but obviously, apologies, you don't have a similar voice. But I'm English, you're American. There is a certain amount of similarities between that when over that side, and like we're all British, we're not. But I see what people say about our accent. So I was just like, I love this band. I've followed them ever since. I don't agree with everything that they've done, but I'll give every new album they have a listen. I really like how outspoken Phil is. Like he's the type of guy that knows he sort of has a big mouth, but takes the consequences of it.
Yes, he does.
And says to people, you know, like, I am big mouthed. I am going to face consequences for what I do. Like we've listened to enough podcasts where he's turned up on like the Jamie Jaster show and stuff like that. But if you know that about yourself and you're willing to face consequences for having an opinion, then fair play to you. It's kind of what Ronnie Rag does. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my classic Fall of Ideals. You're going to really enjoy listening to it if I win. I'm going to listen to it either way.
We've got a manager pick, so.
Oh god, and I don't know what.
Just don't tag the band in it this time.
I think
check out our social media to find out what it will be.
Yeah, because I don't think our manager actually had anything prepared.
I do, I just don't know if it hits the right thing, so just
check our social media.
social medias, yeah, while I double check that.
Mike James Rock Show on everything. It'll probably be in the stories as well.
Yeah.
It's the wild card anyway.
And sometimes the wild card wins.
Not. Put your hand down.
And it makes us change our personalities.
Don't worry. At some point, he's gonna start doing Make a Wish again. He's gonna come back to us, and hopefully John Cena will too. Not just you.
Not until I've got that belt.
Well, it depends if you cash in. You know.
Oh, I've got the money already in the bank. In that case, I'll keep the money.
It's only a contract, unfortunately. So.
What?
Money in a different.
I'm only just getting interested. This is why I'm excited to beat John Cena.
Don't worry, we're a couple of pay-per-views away from Money in the Bank anyway, so we'll be up to date by the time he watches it, so it's fine.
So is that after Mania?
Yes, Mania is the next one. Mania is where we get the John Cena, Cody match. It's Jey Uso versus Gunther for the other big title on the male side, and then there's I can't remember.
My fave lost out, Liv.
Yeah. I can't remember who's fighting for either title apart from it. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky versus...
Rhea Ripley.
Of course.
No, Bianca Belair.
Oh yeah, because she's won it now, hasn't she? It's Bianca Belair.
There we go. So,
yeah.
I'm learning.
And it's almost a certainty that Kevin Owens is going to be having yet another insanely brutal match. Because
more barbed wire chairs.
Mike literally texted me as he was watching this, like, is this
text a voice message?
Is this actually happening? I was just like, yeah, like, and I've been watching wrestling since the Attitude Era, and if you've watched Attitude Era stuff, then it's so unpleasant to watch. To watch a dangerous looking match like that being done as professionally as they did it, What's storytelling?
Also, who stores that many chairs under a ring?
Like, don't pull at that thread. Like, don't, no.
No, I need to know, because if I'm being John Cena, then I need to, and I'm a heel, I need to know how many chairs
There's chairs underneath this table.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't pull at that thread when it comes to it. Just, there's some things that we don't ask questions about, like why is there a kendo stick underneath the ring if it wasn't intended as a weapon? So, you know, there are things, like, why did it take so long for them to switch to flat screen TVs? Like, they had TVs that were like this deep, and flat screens have been around for a good 10 years before they were changed. There are just questions you don't ask. Why does Vince McMahon have a mustache when he looks so creepy with it? Like, there's just things you don't ask.
He's not in this anymore. So
No, but
he's not in my era of
that
wrestling.
That was how he left, with a mustache. Anyway, Triple H is now wrestling Jesus. And I'm not sure, I'm going to start just waffling about wrestling now.
No, wants to hear that.
God, no. Shall we wrap up? Cool, so you vote All That Remains, The Fall of Ideals, so that we can talk about that.
Or vote Pepper Roach.
Or stay tuned on social media for how we're getting stitched up this month.
Until next time.
Ices.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching our album review show. A lot of love for Architects and Whitechapel, not so much for Suburban Legends. Make sure that you stay tuned to our social media, Mike James Rock Show and anything, for the next poll where you can choose what classic we get into. There's still that manager choice outstanding. And make sure that you tune in next week. This is going to be quite the deep dive. We're getting into Kill Switch. Now, we have had a history with Kill Switch over the years. I have quite a few embarrassing stories, some of which I'm pretty confident I can't even remember, but Mike probably will, because for some reason he can't remember to do certain things that, you know, we have to do week on week, but he always remembers the embarrassing things that happened to me. So make sure you tune in next week for our deep dive on Kill Switch. Find our show on Spotify, and, well, tell us in the comments what you thought of this album review show. Tell us who we need to do next time. Make sure you find the poll as well and vote on that.